Alright, we're going to have to be fast on this one because we're going to cover a whole lot. What the purpose of this video is, I'm going to leave Genesis for a minute, and we will be dealing in the book of Isaiah 14. We'll be dealing in Luke 10 to bring it to the New Testament, and we will also be dealing in the book of Revelations. This makes my several attempt to do this video, and what we're going to do is we're going to put this coming millennium doctrine to bed. As far as I'm concerned, I cannot find it. Alright, let's get right into it. We're going to go to Isaiah 14, and this is many are waiting on Michael to kick Lucifer out of heaven, out of paradise, and throw him to planet Earth to here with us. Well, my leanings on this, and from all that I can dig up and ascertain myself, that has already happened, is already transpired. It was prophesied of, it happened, and so let's just get right into it. Chapter 14, verse 12 of the great book of the major prophet Isaiah. I'm going to say, okay. Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Well, sure he did. He has been weakening the Christian nations every chance that he gets for a very long time. But Isaiah here is prophesying of this moment. Lucifer is already fallen. The rebellion in heaven that took place. We are now in this earth age that began with Adam. So let's go to the New Testament here and document when Lucifer. I'll tell you what. Let's go. Yeah, we'll go to the New Testament, but we're going to go ahead and do Revelations 12 first, because this seems to be where the confusion is coming from concerning this, and it is really important because your adversary, the enemy, understands who they are, that they are the fallen, that we are speaking celestially, we are communicating on an angelic level. They speak in parable. We speak in parable. We're supposed to be able to, and let's do that here. Revelation 12, and what this is the as we're going along in time, Revelations covers from Genesis pretty much the whole Bible. You can almost teach the entire Bible from Genesis, and you can almost teach the entire Bible from Revelations. Having said that, let's just go with it, and this is for everyone, but pretty advanced stuff. Moving forward, the great book of Revelation, the revealing, the apocalypse, however you want to say it, is all the same thing, and nothing is really hidden, especially as information, this flood of information is available to us through this magical device that I'm looking at right now called cell phone. We're in the World Wide Web. Everyone has heard. The information is offered to everyone. No one is left out. Everyone has a chance. I saw a monk in Malaysia with an iPhone and an ox cart. Okay? There's no excuse. Ignorance is not going to help. Claiming ignorance and turning your head, plugging your ears to this word is not going to help. You understand? It's not going to help your family members. As much as you love them, you're not going to be able to pray them in heaven. You need to make sure that they are aware. Make sure that they give it's okay if they think you're a little bit aggravating sometimes. It is for their own good, whether they even know it or not. It is, you would be doing it out of love, because this is the chance. There is no coming millennium. You're at the end of the 1,000 years that we have been speaking celestially, and the Holy Ghost speaking through us, as we are trapped in these flesh bodies, and it is appointed unto all of us to die once. Well, Jimmy said we're angels. Well, we are very similar. Yes, we kind of are, in a certain state. If you remember, the Hebrew ate manna for many years as they was going through the wilderness, and what manna is angel food. It is documented. All right. Chapter 12, the book of Revelations. I'm not going to do numbers of verses here. You'll need to keep up. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. All right, so right off the bat, we're going to clear this up. We're not really talking about a female woman, literal flesh woman. We're talking about constellations. All right? The universe is in travail, ready to give birth to this Christ child. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. Alright, it was talking about Christ. She's going to deliver Christ, the universe, Mary, God. And there appeared another great wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. This is a political system. And of course, there appeared another wonder in heaven. Satan is always a step behind Christ. He showed up in the stars too. This is astrology. I will not. I don't do horoscopes. Horoscopes are, to me, they are of Horus, the demigod, lesser god. Keep up. We're going to be doing verse 4. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. So Satan's tail, his story, it says Tail, but you can spell it Tale, because he's a liar. And whatever he said, he convinced a third of God's children, the stars, that's me, you, we're all very old souls. He convinced a third of us that we could take God or take over heaven and play the role of God. It's not going to happen. All right. Let's go ahead with this. So this great red dragon, well, who might that be? Think. Still to this day, there are many who like to dance with dragons and use fireworks and things of that nature, sorcery. Soothsayers, mysticism, usually comes from the East. Red Hot Chili Peppers, psychics passed from China trying to steal your mind's elation. And so it is to this very day. So this dragon, we're just going to go back and put our mind in the vein of Satan, the way his people would look at this. They was ready to devour the woman, which was ready to be delivered. This woman is not a figurative woman. This woman he's talking about Israel. This is his bride. Always has been. Jerusalem is just part of Israel. And the dragon was ready to devour her. Sure it was. That's why the wise men showed up, because they was on an emergency mission, and they knew good and well that the enemy camp had also seen in the stars the coming of this Messiah, and they was on their way there to give gold, frankincense, and myrrh, because they knew that Joseph and Mary was going to need to flee. And sure enough, Herod, the matriarch, I guess, patriarch, whatever, he was a puppet king over Israel at that time, set up by Rome, and his soothsayers and witches saw Christ coming in the stars, and to try to disrupt this, he had every male child 2 years of age and under murdered in Bethlehem around that time. So there's no records of anything like that happened. Nero burnt the Library of Rome. We lost a lot of things like that in his little romp. He's that tin-horn general that he caused a lot of trouble. I'll keep this PG at least. Verse 5, but Satan is always getting his head stepped on. He is a step behind Jesus Christ all the time. Verse 5, and she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. So Jesus Christ was crucified. Yes, he was caught up, and he went to his throne. After he went, where first he went to hell, to Gehenna, Satan's lair, wherever this was at the time, and he took the keys to death and hell and took the sting out of it. He gave us hope. Satan had no home anymore after that. And okay, verse 6, and the woman Israel fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. I'm not sure exactly how long that would be, but what we're talking about here is in 70 AD, Jerusalem was sacked, and the temple Jerusalem was pretty much ransacked, but the West Wall still stands to this day. So that is a prophecy that is yet to be fulfilled. That West Wall still stands, that David built. Okay. Let's go ahead here. Well, the Ezra built. Let's put it that way. So, verse 7, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels. So they had it out in heaven. This is when Lucifer was given the boot. He was kicked out, and sure he was here. There's songs written about it. Verse 8, and Satan and his angels prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. This is not coming. This is not something that's coming. This has already happened. They are here. They have been here. Many of them know who they are and what they are, and they brag about it. And they sing songs about their father, or their father, let's call it that. And one of them songs is called Sympathy for the Devil. You can kind of track Satan's movements along with his lieutenants bragging about where he was at, what he done, and it aligns with the Bible. It says, I stuck around St. Petersburg when Satan decided it was a time for a change. He killed the Tsar and his ministers, and Anastasia screamed in vain. This is speaking of when Rasputin, one of Satan's prize loyalists, infiltrated the Romanov family. They shouldn't have let him do it, but he did, and man, it was the end of them. The last king of Edom, this is biblical, his bones were burnt with lime. So, what else they said? They said, I rode a tank and I held the general's rank when the blitzkrieg raged and the bodies stank. So many instances, and obviously Satan was involved in these things because they're awful, and it destabilizes and causes chaos. And we've had to push back men like Pol Pot and men like Joseph Stalin and men like Adolf Hitler, because it is their nature to just want more. Okay, so their place was no longer in heaven. Let's go on here. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. They are. The demon work was coming alive in 1965. So for 1,000 years, Christ is going to rule with a rod of iron. Okay, well, a rod of iron isn't going to do much to a spiritual being, a ghost, or a however you want to look at it. When you become the light that you are, you'll be beyond that. Okay, let's go ahead. Verse 10. And I had heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. So this skirmish that was going on in heaven, Satan accusing God. Well, you created this. This is all your fault. If you hadn't made it, it wouldn't have been. You ask us to do things that you wouldn't do. Things that I've heard other angels say, other men say. On the celestial level, they wasn't saying, ow, my knee. They were talking about the celestial. Alright? Philippians 3, verse 3. You can go there, man, and you'll see just one of hundreds of instances where we are talking about us communicating and speaking with tongues of angels and being angels. You've got to separate your flesh from the celestial to understand this. Absorb it. So Satan was up there accusing God day and night. Well, the battle has come to earth. Emmanuel, Jesus Christ, the Christ, Messiah, is here. And not to be second best, or just to be second best, I suppose, again, Satan also was kicked out. So, alright, let's move forward here for a minute. Many thoughts going through my mind. If anything is confusing you here, I apologize. Set it on the shelf. I have a post office box. You're welcome to write and ask questions. I hope you do. If I can't answer them, I probably know someone who can. Verse 11. And then overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. Well, there's only one. This can only possibly be one thing. This is, who was the Lamb? Who was the Lamb slain? Is that not already done? We're not going back and forth in time here. We are going right forward, just like it is. Just like we would naturally. I don't know how this got twisted. I can't get my mind around it. I don't understand. It's not confusing. Verse 12 in Revelations. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So when we die now, and we make it into paradise, and we earn that reward, You're not going to be going up there, and Satan is not going to be part of it anymore. He is out of there. He has been out of there. He's here. Look around you. Just look around you, man. It's blatantly obvious. It is ridiculously obvious. And the drums and the war cries of his soldiers is deafening loud right now. It's just verse 13, Revelation, chapter 12, verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. Sure he did. Yes, he did. 70 years AD. This is about 30 years after Jesus Christ was crucified. Satan realizes that he messed up really bad. Really bad. If he could go back in time, my friend David A. Bone has made this clear, he would not have crucified Jesus Christ. It is finished. That's what Jesus said after he was on the cross and ascended back up to where he rightfully should be. So the inhabitants of the earth are man, he is roaring going about right now. Not only is he here and cast down, but he's loose for this short season, and we are at the end of the millennium, the very end of it. The saints have said about everything that there is to say. I'm not sure what else we could possibly beg, plead, cry, put ourselves out for. I don't know, man. I just don't feel like I have another 1,000 years in me of talking to these people, because we are speaking on a celestial level, and they are rejecting Christ on a celestial level. We all know that we're not just flesh and bone. They can say they're agnostic, atheist, what have you, but everyone generally knows that, hey man, I'm not going to, this isn't going to be over when I die, because many times they've probably already checked themselves out of here if they really, really believe that. Moving forward before I get myself in trouble here. Verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished, protected, taken care of, and fed for a time, and times, and half a time from the face of the serpent. Well, where is this great eagle? It is us. It is the USA. Christianity was carried from Europe to here, and we are the superpower of superpowers and have protected Christianity with the blood of our forefathers for hundreds of years, for a time and a lot of times. We are for freedom here, freedom of speech, love, all these things. We were built on Jesus Christ and the leanings of Him. It's just the way it is. It's a fact that is not up for debate. We are that eagle that has protected Israel. We are Israel. If you go back through history, you can trace it. Obvious. Verse 16, and the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. Verse 17, this will finish chapter 12. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. Okay. Alright, well that is it. So, Satan's here. He's angry. He knows his time is short. And he has done everything. He has the world pretty much all turning on Israel right now. Much to his detriment is what that is going to end up being. It's already written how this is going to go. This book of Revelations prophesied, where's the USA? Where's the United States in America in the book of Revelation, in the revealing? We just read it. We grabbed Israel up, and after World War II, the first thing that we done was make Israel a legitimate nation since the first time since 70 A.D. All right, since 70 A.D. in 1947. The Council, or the Treaty of Versailles, I believe is what it was, made Israel a legitimate nation again. And just a few years ago, Donald Trump made Jerusalem its legit capital. He recognized it as that. Put his name right beside Cyrus. Man, there is prophecy unfolding so fast right now. If you blink, you'll miss it. Trump sounding all kinds of things. But this millennium, you're not going to get another chance, honey. This is it. Learn what you can. Subdue your flesh the best you can. And all we're all doing is trying to make our way in. I know I'm 25 minutes in. There was a lot to say here, a lot of ground to cover, and I didn't even cover all of it. There's a new religion coming up. Called Thelema. It's not necessarily Luciferian, but the great beast has, in my opinion, he's already been here. And his spirit, his theology, and his book of the law, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, has already been proclaimed, and the lie is spreading. So hang on to your hats, seal truth in your mind. Love you all, and I believe this was necessary. May God have mercy on us and give us wisdom, open hearts and minds, and let us absorb this thing. May it be blessed in Christ's name. Amen.